sexy. Can you hear that?
Look at their shit.
Me. Podcast you listen on YouTube and iTunes and Spotify and Spreaker.
Everywhere.
You don't know where that is. I'm with MC. He doesn't know that this music sounds cool because he can't hear me. But it sounds badass. You don't understand. It's cool like that. Oh yeah. Alright, me podcast you listen.
1/5 of our Zoom time is used on music I can never hear.
I know, and I don't understand why you can't hear it. This time I played it through the computer. Hey, you want to see something fun? I was waiting for you. This is dude, I think it's better when you use Beating Up Artie Lang. Did you see that when I wrote that?
I did laugh because I know Cece, and I was like, I want to.
The
Cece
guy
gonna
looks
want to
like,
beat him up now.
He looks like Artie Lang. There you got
Cece versus Logan Gage now in Flagstaff.
You got to see. Oh, look at this. Can you see this? Look at that. This is me.
So I could technically do that if I wanted.
You can create an avatar so it looks cool, so you don't have to see your faces.
Oh, okay.
I look very comical.
Are you suggesting that this man should do that the next time he's on our show?
Yes, he could actually. He could just create an avatar, and we wouldn't have to sit there and wait for him. I don't know what might happen to my camera, even though I'm an IT guy.
He just falls asleep for parts of the episode, but since he's got an avatar just
I
staring
think
at us,
he should create.
Know.
He should create this avatar. Here, out there. He should be this guy.
Is there a Ram avatar?
Hello, my name is Ramrock. You also know me as Angry Squirrel in the new Backyardigans.
Backyardigans. That's like Bernstein Bears or some shit like that.
I don't have any. There's my ears. I can see my ears.
There you are, yeah. You got some ears now.
My hands don't move though, but I can close my eyes. Watch. So, why are you showing Ramrock's dropping the boot? Is it supposed to make fun of the Elvis Presley?
I don't know. I threw Elvis Presley on there and earlier today before we got in there. He's just in the ring and apparently he misses it. The guy, if you could see him behind there dodging it.
Does he miss him, or did he actually drop the boot on him?
He just misses him, and that's him jumping in the air for the Das boot. And then
I'm gonna zoom in on your speaker so people can see this closer. Scoot away from it.
Okay.
He's actually in the air. If you can see, his foot is actually leaving.
Yeah.
He's got about a 4-inch vertical going on.
Yeah. I wanted to spin it where he looked like he was doing the splits, dancing, like break dancing or some shit. But I figured kind of his arm like this kind of made me think of Elvis doing his like twisting,
The question is he doing comedy or is he doing wrestling? Because he's wearing the same attire.
I don't know. Does he wear the same attire every day?
He might as well.
Maybe wrestling or comedy.
You need to go to Ramrock's Facebook page and sponsor him so he can get a new outfit.
At the real Ramrock, I think is right.
The real Ramrock needs money on Patreon or wherever. So
we need to set up our Patreon so we can do more bonus.
So yeah, you can get bonus features of me choosing my avatars so I can speak to you on YouTube. And
if you donate enough, you can choose Coach JC's avatar.
Well, you could be cool.
Whoever you want the Ramrock to be dancing with in this photo.
Yeah.
Those are our tiers, our lame first Patreon tiers when we decide to do it.
I think I like it better with the one I created. I look pretty cool.
It does look just like you.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like me at all. Makes me look really young. Look at my
colonoscopy grain.
Look at my neck, man. I got like a skinny ass neck. You gotta give me a body type. I think this looks.
You have bigger eyes than neck.
This looks bigger than me. This looks better like this. Dog. Me and my
McGruff.
dogs.
McGruff the crime dog.
Do not steal. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Listen to me, podcast. You listen. These guys need money.
Do not steal or commit a crime. McGruff said so. Why a crime dog? Why did he do it? What was a crime dog really going to do? I mean, why
Take
crime
a bite
dog?
out of crime. I think it
Oh,
was
that's
to match their,
right. It was
yeah,
take a
their-
bite out of crime. Could have been an alligator.
Yeah.
Maybe
True,
that was
I mean,
maybe that was more
any-
maybe that was unrealistic if it was an alligator.
And dogs sometimes would accompany him on their raids and stuff. So certainly, I guess you could justify a dog
On their
being
raids.
involved in a police dog. McGruff.
All right. Well, the colonoscopy one did come out.
As we record this, yes,
It did. It came out. The colonoscopy.
debuted this morning. There wasn't very many live listeners, but I did get some feedback from our good buddy Ishu, who is listening as we speak to the three-way episode with us and the Ramrock. So I told him to give us some feedback when he is finished
It's
with
the
that.
wrestling version. That's why all your wrestling friends
Potentially.
jumped in.
I don't know if that's that one or the fasting one. We'll see. We'll have to see what he says.
Fasting. Me podcast, you fasten with MC. How did that ever come out? Did you eat a big meal?
Yes, we did not reveal that. I think I did in the comment section. So I woke up much later, so I didn't even eat exactly at midnight. I actually woke up. This was Saturday, so I did have to work that particular one, and I could have went without eating. Believe it or not, I had no. Like I think we've talked about it on the episode teaser. There was like really no craving, which was good because I just ate very mildly before leaving to do what I had to do that day. And yeah, I mean, then I came back later on. I ate more, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it felt pretty good.
Did you?
About 30 hours total, I think it came to something like that.
So afterwards, did you feel like eating anything heavy, or did you eat toast?
No, which in the past, if I had done some heavy gorging at midnight, especially the one that, like I always talk about, the 2-day ones are not the best for me. I didn't make the smoothie. I remember that. I might have just had something very small. I mean, definitely something to drink because that's what, obviously thirsty. I don't think I had much to eat at all. I don't normally eat breakfast. So the fact at that time in the morning, which was, at that time, yeah, it was very light. I couldn't even tell you. Now that I'm trying to think about it, it would have been, I don't know I think it was tuna or what. I don't even know if it was a little tuna or whatnot, but
Tuna.
yeah, not much.
I'm gonna
Not
have
much.
I'm gonna have some fish. All right. Well, that was riveting. That was a riveting reveal. I don't know if we can.
It was.
I don't know if
it
our
wasn't as-
I don't know if
it
our
wasn't as-
subscribers just man is just tripled.
There was no bleeding asses involved in my
No,
story.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you,
it was,
after
hope
that
so.
happened, I now inspect my shit every time. So, and then good news is they came
I think we
back.
should always.
They
do
came
that.
back benign. So
Good.
the colonoscopy was just a routine, just to stay healthy. But did I tell you I had cancer taken off my face the 2 days later?
I think I do remember you saying something like that. So off your head there.
No, it's the wrong side. I can't. I'm
Mhm.
looking at the camera. See, it's kind of
Yeah.
leftover hole right there.
Oh,
So
no, I can't really see that
they got
too well.
25 stitches.
25.
20,
Wow.
20 25 stitches. 15 on the outside, 10 on the inside. And they totally
Inside stitches. That's interesting.
yeah, well, because they cut a massive hole that could probably hold a cup, like a cup holder in the side of my head. And when he was cutting my head, did I not? I didn't tell you this story.
I don't think no, I don't think
Okay.
so.
This
This is our epilogue episode.
This is the
from all our other episodes.
Patreon. So he cuts in my face. They cut in your head, and they do it in sections because they don't want a huge, like when it's on my back or on my body, they just cut a massive hole around the cancer. Yeah. They remove it, and they stitch you up, and they say it should be good. We took out enough that we think that we covered the area. But on your face, they call it a Mohs surgery, and they try to take off, hey, Mo, they try to take off little pieces at a time. So they cut the first piece, and it takes them an hour and a half because they got to look at it under a microscope and do the lab. So you lay there with a bandage on your head, and then I was thinking it was like a little red dot right here. So I was thinking it shouldn't have been that big. Shouldn't have been that big. So they came back and they were like, no, man, we didn't get it all. And they had a little sketch artist draw up like where the cancer is based on the study of the circle of the skin they took off. They're like, we're going to take more. So they recut it again. This time, bigger hole, like big size hole. And he said, we're going to have to do some, he gave me a check mark, like a check mark of the cut. So they basically cut my face, and then they told me that that this is going to take a lot of stitches to cut it, to put it back in there and make it not look so bad. But now I have a check mark, so I look like the dude from Harry Potter, where he has that mark on his head.
Yeah, I want to show this. That's what I was doing while you were telling that story too. I was also see if I could pull up this.
Just watching you, it's like a 1980s film movie where you're just floating around on the screen while you're trying to move your phone to. It's like one of those. It's like you ever seen Toonces, the driving cat from Saturday Night Live?
Yes,
that's what it looks like.
See, I told you he could drive.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. The backdrop's like a fake movie scene, like in the back of a screen while you're driving.
I'm trying to. Yeah, this is on the fly. You and me podcast. You listen.
Me podcast. Yeah, MC Brown attempts to use an iPhone.
Yeah, he does not know what he's doing.
He's just moving it around.
There was a nasty gash that this wasn't done by, in the wrestling related to the back there, wasn't done by Ramrock. But apparently there was some big brawl between two factions in AEW, and I guess the manager guy, who accompanies Kenny Omega in AEW, he didn't get busted open by Jon Moxley. I guess he got hit, and then his head fell apparently on a TV stand or something. His like gash is nasty. I think I'll just send it to you. You could pull it up.
Yeah.
It is pretty nasty.
Email it so I can pull it up.
Email it? Oh, you can if I text it?
If you text it, I can't pull it up for now.
Okay. Yeah, that's the problem I'm having right now. But yeah, I'll email it to you right now, see if you can pull it up. It's pretty gnarly looking. Yeah, you got to see this thing.
Is this the one where Rocky's beating up the dude, or is this the another?
No. This is an AEW aftermath thing where they're just kind of they're stitching him up or stapling him or whatever of where the shot is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see here in a second. I just messaged you. It is a nasty gash, and they're closing it at this one. I don't know if you could even pull up on the internet a better shot of it. I think I seen it in a highlight package video where they were showing it, and the doctor was kind of squeezing it closed. Well, of course, in typical wrestling fashion, Kenny Omega's talking about getting revenge for it and all that such. Well, apparently.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And it's pretty gnarly looking, isn't it? Pull that up.
So that smashed on his. That happened during the live taping.
Yeah. So apparently, I guess. I mean, he sold it. Whatever Moxley hit him with. I don't know if he just punched him, but I didn't see it. I didn't even know the two factions were feuding. In all honesty, AEW has been a little tougher for me to watch just because being a story character guy, a lot of the stuff, if it's not heavy storylines and stuff, it's tough for me to get involved in. But I did kind of take interest when I seen the highlight package on that, and I was like, that's pretty nasty looking. So yeah, he's gonna have a nice little scar there in his head. Pinch for bigger view. There it is.
Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
That looks like a.
doesn't even look real, does it?
It doesn't even look like it's part of his face. They look like they're pinching. Yeah. They're pinching the side of his face right here, like kind of on the side.
Yeah, and it's like on the side.
All the skin wrinkles on the other side. It doesn't even look real. It looks like it's part of his face. No, that particular
one doesn't look real, but I think the best shot of it was in a highlight video. So that was the quickest one I could pull up when I was trying to find it, and
So how many
I was gonna.
stitches? How many stitches?
I'm not sure, but I think maybe even got staples for that. Who knows?
Staples make him look like Frankenstein. Jeez, staples.
Me need staples in me head.
This hurts my head.
Bizarro.
Here, I'll share mine. It's not as impressive. Oh. Look at the little gauze piece on the side of my temple.
Oh wow.
So it was funny. I was asking them. I was like, how? I'll go closer.
Where is that? Oh, can you see it? Can't see the lines, can you, Russ?
What lines? Can you see my side of my head?
No.
You
That's
can't
all
see
I'm
it?
seeing is the gauze. Can just see the gauze.
No.
Can't see the
Oh,
things.
so anyways, he was like, that was the first round, and the second round got bigger. But when they stitched up my head, I was kind of curious, so I asked him, like, how deep can you dig into the side of my head before you get to my skull? Because it's on my temple. Like, how much meat is there? And he says there's not a whole lot of meat, but there's nerves that run through there, and they worry that if they cut a certain nerve, it might cause your face to like droop. So
Ooh, yeah, that's scary.
And so he says that, and me and my hypochondriasm, as he gives me more stuff to numb it, walks away to check the second sample that he took off, and this side of my eye goes like, ugh.
Oh no.
And so I'm sitting in this room, and I'm like this, and I'm like, I can't open my eye. I can't move my eye. So I'm doing this, trying to pull my eyelid up, and it feels like it's drooping. And I'm like, great, they got the nerve, and now I'm gonna be like this all the time.
Is your wife in the room at
Nobody's
this time?
in there with me. I'm by myself, and
Just,
so
just drafting up divorce papers
Yeah.
immediately. Well, I'm not gonna. I didn't agree to marry Frankenstein here. What's going
I
on?
didn't. That's what it looked like.
Sorry, husband. I'm gonna be calling you Coach JC from now on.
I got a stroke.
Husband JC.
So I instantly he comes in and he checks on me. He goes, "How you doing?" I go, I can't move my eye." What do they say? Just like the emergency room visit, you'll be all right. That's it, man. I swear. I just don't think anybody cares. So eventually it wore off.
If it numbs your face forever, it numbs your face forever. Just be happy we're getting it out of your skull.
Well, I'm thinking that's the side of my face when I was a kid that I always had a lazy eye, and I'd always get pictures like one eye is kind of.
And that was because you had a tumor in it since birth?
No, I didn't have a tumor.
Well, what was that you had cut out of that?
Skin cancer. Were you not following along?
Okay.
A tumor.
I was searching for
tumor.
that big gash, searching for that big gash on Don Kelly.
You've always had a tumor?
That's like, what is growing inside your head?
If anybody listens to this, I do not have. It's not a tumor. So
Not a tumor. It's just my lazy eye.
So, anyways, 20 minutes into this podcast, we talk about nothing that we were gonna talk about. And we're just going off on the Me podcast. You listen. What's wrong with Coach today?
What these guys must maybe they're going the way of their show on Colorcast.
Can you tell us what's wrong with Coach now? Let me tell you. After a bleeding asshole, I now have a hole in my head that they cut cancer out of.
First Colorcast dies, now Me podcast you listen die.
Well, then this is funny. So then I had to go back and get something taken off my back. And so usually they just cut it out. They cut the piece out and just take it away. This time,
how do you even know that it's on your back? Are you having somebody check you daily?
Yeah, that's what it was. I went for my little.
Honey, tell
it
me
was
what's on my back today.
So yeah, it was 5 years ago. I went and got someone. I had this mark on my neck right here, and it was like a lump. And so I asked my doctor, and he's like, I don't know. Let's draw a marker around it, and we'll see if it gets any bigger. That's not gonna help. I don't want it to get bigger. I don't want like this. All of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, I got bigger. So
let's just tattoo around it, and then if it exceeds the big circle tattoo we put on you, then we'll have to do something.
It'll be like a 3D picture of an eyeball coming out of your neck. So it was rubbing on my shirt, so I was getting sick of it. So I went to the dermatologist. The dermatologist does a normal check from head to toe and says, you got like 5 skin cancers on you. And I'm like, what is that? So, of course, my hypochondriasm goes into skin cancer means cancer and cancer bad. So I look at all the pamphlets while she's looking at everything, and she comes back and she says, well, these are basal cell, which is what they call it when you have just skin cancer, but it's not the melanoma type. So they cut them off.
Can't they call it something else though?
Well, it's cancer. It's still cancer. It's just
Still
not.
cancer,
It's not
just
the.
to worry you
What
and
she says is not the.
torture you.
It's not the bad kind. So, but cancer's cancer. So they start cutting away on my neck. They found some on my back. They cut 2 off my head up here. Looked like I had horns removed, and that's how I knew about that. So I haven't been back. I haven't been back. I haven't had anything for. I went back a year later. Didn't have anything, so I didn't go back during COVID because then they were doing virtual skin cancer reviews. I don't know how you could do it online. Like, can you look at this one right here? Look at
Well,
this.
we
Look at
hate
this
to break
right here.
hate to break it to you, Coach JC, but from our looks, it looks like you're dying. You have about 2 months to live.
Can you look at that right there? And they're like, okay. Can you do a quick sample? Can you get a knife out of the kitchen drawer and just
Quick
scrape your
sample.
face?
It may or may not be a listener of ours, but they did their own self surgery, which I would not.
No.
That's a story in itself.
Yeah, so I
but,
can see them being
yeah.
like, can you cut that off your neck, please, and bring it in? And then you got to come in like this, like, here's my sample. And then you have your mask on and be like,
Goodness.
so just take this. And then they go, thank you very much. And then you walk
Looks like
away.
you
Go,
have
"The bridge,
big
bridge."
blue- They look like you had big blue lips.
No.
Yeah, it did more than a surgical mask.
So, no, it was a surgical mask. So then
I know it. Yeah,
so
it's
then-
triggering me.
So then I go in. And this time they said, the one on the side of my head was there last time. They freeze it. Don't ever freeze it. Freezing hurts. They basically
I've heard about that
take
when my dad was
nitrogen.
got them off the top of his head. Yeah,
Yeah, fuck. They and then they
nitrogen.
and then just they're like, okay, and then like 6 hours later, it just boils out like.
What did you just tell him? Hey, can I have some of that at home whenever I feel something growing on me?
Fuck it. So this time when I went in to get the stitches out, I was waiting in the waiting room and I was fucking with that nitrogen thing. Don't turn it on its side because it'll go off. And so when I was sitting by myself, I was looking at it and I turned it sideways and it went, and it sprayed all over my fingers. And I was like, oh. It was like the part of the Terminator where he sprays them and he gets all like.
Oh yeah, the crystallized frost.
That's
that
what my
happens
hand.
to,
That's what my hand looked like. I was like, I was stuck to the can. I'm trying to shake it off. So, anyways, back to the skin. So they took all this stuff off. So,
Don't by the way, don't do that yourself with those instant freeze cans. That's actually chemicals.
Don't do that. So this is what happened though. So the reason I went in the first time, they carved me up like a pumpkin, and I was like, I ain't gonna go back to this. And then someone had it that I knew, the top of their head, and they took out a bunch of it, and his head kind of looked like a dip in the middle, like someone hit him with a bat in a cartoon, because they
Ooh.
took out so much crap that was growing on his head. So since then, I go routinely because I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want him to remove pieces of my face. So
You just think at some point you would have like 50 things that they would have to freeze and remove
no.
from your head.
That's when you just get into like a chamber, like they do for the X-ray machines for the airport, and they just spray you up, and then you just break. So that's what happened to me 2 days later. And I didn't hold
what you
back.
need to
I
do
didn't
is
hold back to
just-
telling them that I had I was bleeding out my butt. So I'm telling everybody I was bleeding out my butt.
You know, if just something's growing, just tear it out with your fingernails and bare hands.
Well, that's what was happening
Yes.
on this one.
Save you like $300,000
I would
or
I would
whatever they
scratch
charge you
it.
for those procedures.
I got insurance. I would scratch it,
Yeah,
and it would fall off.
better
and then,
use it.
And then I would put it back on. Yeah, see, I want to get, when I retire, I want to be completely clean and free. So
Be Scar Man. I have about 12,000 scars from
I do.
all these procedures.
I got one right
procedures
here.
I've had done.
The fucking man, they just cut you up. Like, you don't think there's a new. There's two methods.
Ridiculous.
There's two methods of stuff that they don't do anymore, and they don't have any new science to this. It's fucking dentistry and getting the dermatologist. They still just carve you off. They cut it off, and the dentist, they still just put metal shit in your mouth and scrape away and bleed everywhere. It sucks.
It's gonna change the name of this podcast to Me Surgery, You Listen. What is Coach JC?
What's wrong with
done
Coach
this week?
JC now?
What procedure has he had done sliced out of him this week that we can gross you listeners out with?
Why is it gross? It's part of human life, children.
Bleeding out of your ass. That picture we just showed of Don Callis' forehead. Your forehead.
Well, that fucking dude, that looked like a blunt object to his face, and there's not much up there.
Yeah, he fell right on that thing and just sliced himself open. That's. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like.
You don't
over
see the
time.
picture that Rocky was beating the shit out of that dude. You think that was real blood on that guy's face? Kind of looked like ketchup smear. Did you see the picture?
I think Rocky wasn't, 100% comfortable with that. That was a blade job, I believe.
Oh, really? It looked kind of. It looked kind of like a. Like,
I
looked a little
mean,
ketchupy,
like unless he told them bust me open hard way, but I don't think that's how
ketchup
that
packet.
Ketchup. Sure. If he was ever listening to these shows, he probably would appreciate that. First he calls me Artie Lang. Now
All of a sudden, you see.
I bleed ketchup.
You see in his hand. You see in his hand it says Wendy's written on the packet. Well,
I will say the big dude in Rocky's camp. That guy's pretty big fellow. I forget how tall that guy is. Like, I think he calls Alex Ace or whatever, like 7-footer. That dude looks like a pretty, formidable.
He steps over the ropes, bro. He's tall, dude. He steps over the ropes. That is the big man entrance, stepping over the ropes. What I like about some of these.
The tutelage and the learning tree of this man.
What I love the most about
Rock.
is sometimes they step over the ropes, but they're not tall enough to do that, so they have to push down the ropes quite a bit, and then they lose control of the rope, and it kind of yanks up on their crotch as they're trying to bring the other leg over.
Did you ever see some of those videos where the guy falls out of the ring or whatever? You're like, your mystique is over immediately as you twist and fall over the top rope. Terrible.
So anyways, we now have approximately 3 minutes left of this podcast.
Me epilogue, you listen from the last 4 Zoom episodes we've done. We're talking about
these are ones we put into the bank, and in case we have to throw an episode on, it just shows up. Me skin tag, you listen.
Me mess around with background, you wait.
That was pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I like the background. There's other ones they have on here too. I don't know if you've actually seen these backgrounds. I'm in San Francisco, so.
Well, do you have the slums of Oak? Do you have the slums of Las Vegas when you're talking about the Raiders?
No, bastard. No, but I have the grass if I want to play like a caterpillar or something.
Grass. This is where you hide when you're a Raiders fan.
And then the woohoo, it's windy out here. This reminds me of the what was it? The Wayne's World episode when they said we're in Delaware. Yay!
That for their basement TV.
We're in Delaware. Now we're in San Francisco. Now I'm outside the Earth.
This whole episode has been a dream. Just rewind back to the start.
So if I ever have to give you advice, then you should go get checked if you have anything, because you never know.
You've given me skin tag advice,
colonoscopy,
ass advice, everything that I should be worried about as I approach the age that you are. And probably won't listen. And
the age I am. Well, I will tell you this. I've never pooped better since I did this whole thing. So
it's just like a smooth canal now.
It's that one thing that was in the way. It was kind of like this, just running on my colon, and my poop was hitting it.
Yeah. I know.
What is this? What is What's going on down there?
It's like a mountain. It was like the water should be free falling. It was hitting that mountain inside there.
Yeah,
And,
my brother-in-law, sorry, had to have a 30 millimeter polyp removed. 30.
Jeez.
It's like twice the size.
My goodness.
It's just like a huge thing in the middle of his butt, just blocking
Like
it.
a golf ball in his ass.
Yeah. They had to go in and remove it in sections, like it was like an asteroid. They like had a little tractor team going there with a backhoe, pulling it out.
Basically had to
They had to extract the baby.
yeah.
So he had a growth in there that actually had a
Crane
name.
take it away. We had a crane take it away. We had a crane knife just operating it. Had to really get in there.
If you've ever
So
seen
I mean,
it,
I'd imagine the bleeding would have been pretty bad for him as well. Did you ask him about that?
I never taught. We don't. He's not that guy, but they
Trade
did.
secrets?
They did. We took pictures of each other's toilets aftermath and was like, "Holy crap!"
Hey, does yours look like this? Yes. Holy shit! I thought I was the only one.
As I show everybody like baby pictures, check a look at this one. Look at this one. They're even doctors are like, I mean, that's how bad it looked. It's not something that was a normal issue. I mean, I know people are like, you're exaggerating. No, it looked bad. And if you want to get it on Patreon, I can send out the pictures. It's
That's a
for
nice
one
reward tier.
$1 you can get
We
one
don't
of
care
these
what
pictures.
you donate. We're gonna send this to you anyways.
I will sign it. I will sign the picture. Me
Sign it.
Me poo poo blood.
To you. Thank you for listening,
I was blading my butt. So
Coach Colonoscopy.
you know what? I didn't think it was gonna go that way. That last episode, I know you made fun of me. So it didn't go as planned. That was not the
I know,
plan.
that was hilarious in the freaking description of the episode. Coach JC describes colonoscopy as it did not go as planned.
No, I was supposed to do a mud run 2 days later. I was supposed to be all like active, and they were like, "Yeah, it should be no problem, man. You'll be back to normal." And
You picture you running with a clenched ass, back in a full stride.
Me on a rope climbing up, and then blood just down on the next person coming at me. What the fuck? Like the movie, the Carrie movie.
Oh, dude. Nasty.
I'll be like, I thought I had to fart. I thought I had to fart. I'm sorry.
I guess the best advice you could give is don't schedule the mud run after a colonoscopy.
Well,
because you never know.
I didn't know I was doing a mud run. It was for my son's birthday. He wanted to go, and then when I realized it was 2 days later, I called them and I asked them, "I'm doing a mud run. It's not like running as much as it is obstacles. Will I be okay? Because my first colonoscopy." And they said yes. And then I called called my doctor, and he said, "You should be good. They're really worried just about the anesthesia." But
Okay.
I don't think that
You wouldn't have the proper lungs for it? Is that kind of...
no, because you're all kind of loopy, kind of out of it.
okay.
You're not supposed to drive afterwards for 24 hours.
Soon as the procedure's over, you're doing a mud run?
You're basically intoxicated. So I was like, 2 days later, I should be good. But
You're way off path. What the hell is that guy doing in the background? The fuck is he's not even on the
fuck,
trail?
I'm not even running.
hell is he doing?
I'm driving with my car through there, just running over shit.
Running over competitors.
I'm like,
I don't even think he's awake. What the
hey,
hell's
sir,
that guy
you're
doing?
supposed to be running. Fuck that. This is faster. Just driving through the mud.
Drive right through the fucking wall you have to climb over.
So what they should have explained, though, if you have any polyps, you're probably not going to want to do something. And I read that in an article, which is the worst thing you do is research on YouTube for me. I mean, research on the internet. So I went on there and I found
WebMD.
that I just researched what you're supposed to do, and they said, hey, if you have any polyps, it might take 2 or 3 more days to recover. But they didn't say that. And then even when I had it, the doctor was like, you should be good. So I didn't. Next time I go with my gut and say Reschedule. Reschedule. Because in that mud run, I ended up just walking and watching people have fun. So
I gladly finished Mr. Irrelevant.
Well, I did one obstacle where you just crawl, and then that was it. I didn't want to rupture my gut, and then I got my medal.
Just crawling through everything. Ready, go.
So now that you say that's exactly how it happened. Everybody's like, "You guys ready for this?" And they're like, "Ah!" And everybody's like, I'm just sitting there, and then they're like, "Ready?" They count down 3, 2, 1. Everybody starts running. I'm just walking.
You're just walking backwards, so you don't get any urge to even do anything. I'm just gonna not even look at people. I'm gonna stroll backwards through all of this.
I'm all just walking where everybody's running like, woo! And I'm just like, not
even concerned. I'll beat everybody by being slow.
So then my kids like stayed with me, and they're like, good. I'm like, you guys can run, get up there, and they're like, no, we want to stay with you. And I'm like, I ruined this whole event for my kids.
We did this for you, Dad. And we just wanted to see you finish the race.
They wanted they wanted me to do it with them so they can be like, you're a pussy. So I felt like a brittle old man at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like you staged that colonoscopy at that time to just not even compete with them. Like, I'm not going to beat my kids anyways. I might as well come up with this colonoscopy.
And I will tell you this. I did a 2 months before that. I did a Tough Mudder, and it was a 10K, which is like 6 point some miles. I did that one, and the only ones I pushed out on, I didn't want to do the obstacles, was getting electrocuted, because that had happened. I did it in Denver, and I got electrocuted, and I was
that's part of the thing, being electrocuted.
Fuck, man. Yeah, you walk through this thing of like these electrical lines dangling. And
why?
Fuck,
what the hell would you do that
for a free beer and a shirt? I guess this is like wrestling. So I go
what if it went wrong? We can't get him out of it. He's just convulsing in there.
No, I'll tell you how it happened. So as we're getting to the event part where they electrocute you, we got 2 minutes left. They get electrocuted. Yeah. They got this dangling thing, and so I'm like,
countdown.
I'm like, shit, man. I don't think it's really that bad. And my wife's like, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, no, I don't think it's really that. They wouldn't electrocute you so bad that they would kill somebody. They wouldn't have a business anymore if they were killing people. It's not like the freaking, what's that movie called with the
Running Man?
It's not Hunger Games. So I walk up there and I'm sitting there looking at people running through, and they're running really fast. And I'm like, oh yeah, and I've seen people get caught in those lines and choke them and like fall down and stuff. So I'm like, I don't think it's that bad. It's really not. And as I said that, the lines that were wadded together swing by and they touch me in the back, and I go, and I just lock up and I fall to the ground, and I go, holy shit, crawl! So I started crawling underneath all these lines. So in this, the new Tough Mudder I did, the 10K. They had one where you had to crawl through all of these electrical lines. And I was like, fuck that. Because I couldn't get under it and I couldn't squeeze through it because of my body. So I was like, this ain't happening. So
to finish the race, you have to battle Spider-Man villain Electro as he fires 700,000 volts at you over and over again.
That's kind of what it felt like. All right, dude, that's me podcast. You listen. I'm sorry we got to wrap this up. We're going to have to go back to our normal plan. We'll do another one where we actually talk about what we were supposed to talk about, which is the movie making business. So MC, make sure we follow us and do all that cool stuff. Make sure you check us out on all of the social media networks as well as YouTube, and please subscribe, because that's where we get our followers.
One of these videos, Coach JC will put that in the description.
Yep. Maybe I'll do it on this one. I'll edit it.
I'll send it to you.
All right. Me podcast, you listen. Thanks for tuning in as we exit out with music that MC can't listen to.
We'll just dance randomly.